job market, uh, don't study programming. That'll go away in 5 years. uh, and I don't know.
I think so. Obviously, tasks that are repetitive are gonna be repeated. I think that's the first wave of AI in production.
I thought it at first too, but I don't know. Like, I think the very first task that's gonna be deleted is actually programming, because it just has so much code. It parses every public code from GitHub, all the code on the internet available, and it knows it. So now I program with Copilot. It's like the OpenAI thing, collaborate with GitHub, and your AI, what you said, complex or something, told me earlier. Um,
It's also somebody very interesting.
Monday, you told me about this OpenAI model complex or something.
Codex.
Codex is used for
Actually, it's based upon Chat GPT-3.
Yeah, so that's also from OpenAI, but it like GPT-3 is super learned in codes. So now I can just say like, build me this, and it'll generate entire files of codes that work. Like, I think programmers, because there's so much availability of codes, that it's so quickly it's just gonna be thinking about design.
Yeah, no, go on, sorry.
About design of the project, but not about coding itself. So you have to know, okay, what interacts with what and how should this behave, but not like what's code. Code's gonna be like gone in 5 or 10 years.
Do you think coding will be the first jobs to be gone?
Yeah, well, the first like big sector, because there are now people that just like write over from Excel to Words. Those jobs are.
So you think it's more gonna be like people have an idea, they try to word this idea as best as possible into the AI, and it writes code for it?
Yeah, of course.
Like soon, we do with ChatGPT.
Soon we'll just in full text explain what a program should be doing. Maybe not in text, maybe even with like a tool that like visualize all the blocks. And then because also it takes care of so much stuff that programmers don't do from the first time, like authentication, security, all this stuff, like making your code very robust, very scalable, all these stuff it knows, and it does it automatically. So I don't know. I think like just purely developing, I think that's gonna go away pretty. You'll just have a tool to make programs, because like program makers will still be there, but they don't have to know the code. I think it'll just be like some drag and drop stuff.
Okay. I'll add Zoe, and if she wants to talk, she can talk. Hugo, I don't know if you you also want to pitch in for the conversation. You are always welcome. But otherwise, I would recommend just follow through YouTube. Yeah, just a little intermezzo. Yeah, I'll just add him. He can listen here also. So, what's your question already? Yeah, I answered to your question. When we were talking actually about it, like the waves of which AI would integrate into the workforce, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, like.
So you think first coding is gonna be replaced, and then you think the repetitive jobs, or how do you?
So what do you mean by repetitive jobs?
Like for me, like you said, somebody that has to fill in Excel files or has to grade people the same way each time, kind of repetitive tasks that can always be done.
Yeah, but those
faster.
Like if a job was also replaceable by a coding function, like just a program, then I don't see it being replaced by AI. It's just a job that was obsolete in the first place. You know? Like filling in Excel, there are people that are still filling in Excel from pictures. Like this can be done by a program. So yeah, of course these will be the first to go, but they can already go because you can just.
For example, people that work in factories, I think that's a very sensitive topic, because I work with them and they are pretty hesitant of any new changes in the workforce, because they realize at some point they will get replaced by AI. And before I said that in the process industry, there's not implementation of AI. Actually, wrong of me. I said it deliberately, but there is AI in the process industry, but it's um, chosen by the people there to not turn it on because they don't want it to actually manage the process because they believe that it might take over their job at some point if it gets too good.
But are these like mechanical stuff, like moving robots and stuff, or?
No, it's like we have a control system that manages the process, and it can guide the process, open valves, open pump, steer pumps. But people are actually hesitant to use it because they think if we use it too much, then our job becomes meaningless, you know?
But also, like,
and I think that's what is gonna change at first. That's what I mean by repetitive tasks. Like, it's not conceptualizing a new thing. It's managing something that you already know and doing it in the same way each time to minimize the risk or the adverse effects that can happen. I think those jobs will go out first. If I'm being honest, I'm not promoting my job right now because my customers are these people right now.
Yeah. Well, I think that the moment there's something mechanical about it that isn't managed by something.
The auto industry is pretty mechanical, I think.
Yeah, but
AI
like
driven.
If there's something to be like, if a robot has to be made to do it, then it'll take some more years because you have to develop this robot. While things purely software can go within like.
No, but you can have like a robot that has like a, I don't know how you say it, a loss item, like a.
Yeah.
You can program it in different ways. Like that's how cars are being made. You have like these arms around these cars, and they do all lasting and screwing things.
Yeah.
And if you make a new car, you just program the arms to move in a different way. I think that already exists at this point, and I think a lot of people already lost their job because of these AIs.
Well, I think you're right, but like everything that's like physically moving has its limitations, and if it's not yet present, it has to be built. But in the cases that it's already present and you just have to like program it to work better, I believe it's gonna go soon. But then, like for example, factory workers or process engineers or stuff like that, like still need, because the AI doesn't have, they don't offer a guarantee that it works. Like they don't offer like a 99.99% guarantee. So you always have to have a human controlling it for when it goes wrong, no?
Yes, but
while a program,
for example,
like,
we have now teams of maybe 20 people maintaining one installation.
Yeah.
I think AI you could reduce it to 2 or something. No?
Depending on how much physical work has to
actually
be done.
following the process, and 1 people in the field that goes out when there is a problem.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
And that's I don't say the jobs will go away, but I think there's gonna be a whole big reduction of those jobs. Cashiers, I think it's also a job that's gonna vanish in the near future.
Yeah, but like, is that like, I know that's AI based, but that's like.
That's not even AI based.
No, the only thing holding it back it's implementation. It's not they're not waiting for the new AI breakthrough. No. They can already do it if they want to, but
if one field gets like, I don't know how I can say it, but it's like all fields are like pushing the barrier of when are we gonna use AI. Exactly. And I think at some point one field is gonna be like, okay, we're going full AI,
and then the dam breaks,
and then it all breaks. You know, everybody's gonna be, whoa, they're cutting costs so much, we also have to do it now.
Yeah.
And I think we're at that point. People are getting more expensive. People are asking raises. The standard of living is increasing.
Yeah.
People are just very expensive in general.
Yeah, it's insane to see how much money is going to people, which can so quickly.
I think almost 40% of the revenue of a company goes back to the employees and stuff.
Yeah.
Maintain their.
If you like look back at like a month's work, you think, okay, what did I do this month, and how much did how much did my employer pay me? Like not pay me, pay like including taxes and stuff. That's like in the thousands, 2,000, 3,000.
Crazy.
Euros taxes for what? Sometimes you have like this shitty month and you don't even. Was it worth 3,000 euros? Like we could have.
You don't have to tell me.
For months, right?
I sometimes feel like, where is this money coming from? But
Yeah.
somebody's paying and everybody's happy along the way. So I don't mind it, but
And that's what
I know
meant with, like,
it can't last. That's why I'm making this reference. Like, everybody's pushing this dam,
yeah.
but at some point this dam is gonna break, and we're all gonna be like, hey, this guy is using AI and is cutting cost 40%. We could also do it.
Yeah. So,
And at that point, it's gonna be brutal. I think.
so what do you think will happen?
I think so. For example, the repetitive jobs, and I can see coding also being
No, but, like,
replaced.
if the dam breaks, I mean, just shit show, society's gone. Like,
I think we have to see it in a different way. And I was actually thinking about today in the car because I thought I had a pretty important meeting with one of my bosses, but it was actually. But I was thinking about the concept of not asking for a raise, but asking to work less.
okay,
Like,
yeah,
I know you can't pay me more, but can I work less?
yeah,
I think that's a bit where we're going. People are gonna work less and get paid enough to live, but it's not gonna be that has. If you really want to be rich, that's not gonna cut it. You know, you have to
yeah,
you have to do something in your spare time, or develop a skill that nobody else has, or make content that nobody else has. And that's why I think also investing in this. Like,
yeah,
there is more to life than the repetitive job that you're doing, and I think people have to, I would say, put more effort in creative things that AI struggles with.
yeah.
And that's where we're going, I think. Like,
And will that give you, like, will get that may be a brutal question, but would that give you satisfaction in life?
I think I don't think like I like my job now. I would not say love, but pretty good job, and I see I can go far with it if I really want it, but it just doesn't cut for me, you know? I like to talk about a lot of things. I don't want to specify myself on one thing. So I try a lot of things, you know? Like, you can see, look around, I do
Yeah, but
I
that's
do
nice.
weird shit.
Yeah,
99% of my weird shit doesn't actually result in anything.
that's
But
nice that
maybe
you
this
try.
1% that I'm trying here actually results me in a job that cannot be replaced, you know?
You know,
It creates value for something, or for some people, that cannot be replaced by an AI that does not experience the world as we do. I think that's, especially entertainment, I think it's gonna be a real big thing in the future. Like, for now, it's only like 20. Allez, everybody watches entertainment, but like I'm saying, if we get more free time, entertainment will be a way bigger thing, and I believe that's where the future is going, and that's something that AI struggles with.
yeah, I don't know. I think, like, sometimes, like, I thought that for a long time as well, but then I think, like, I think that's our ego telling us, or like convincing us, that we are so much better at entertaining than any AI would ever be.
I don't think that's true. Um, that basically ego, but I will acknowledge that AI can also be funny. I saw some AI that was trained on famous people, and they were saying like stupid shit, and it made me laugh because they say it in a way that famous people would say it,
Yeah,
but it's totally ridiculous. Like the Seinfeld AI show or something. They did a whole Seinfeld episode or whatever, or series, and it was all AI generated text and speech and jokes and stuff.
yeah,
And I can see such things working, but I also know that it's limited to what it exists. That's why I mean, like, entertainment especially is something, it's always something new. Like, what's the next entertaining thing? What was before TikTok? Like, TikTok happens and all of a sudden that's the new thing, you
yeah.
know?
And even in TikTok, you have these trends, and you don't know which thing is gonna go viral, and then
Yeah.
suddenly everyone's singing one song or doing one thing, and then, like, nobody decides that. But that's still, like, because we don't understand it. But what if, like, what if it's simpler than we think, and we're just not capable of realizing that we're so incapable of
No,
predicting
that's
it?
also a future that could happen.
So I think, like,
So
at
what do
first
you
I was
believe?
like,
What do you believe?
at first I was like, okay, arts and creativity and stuff, that's the way to go, because, like, all the functional, the thinking stuff is gonna go away. But now I'm not so sure. I think, like, I don't know what's here to stay and what's like how we're gonna find meaning, but I think that there will be an
Meaning
even bigger...
and actually making money to support your life.
Yeah. So
That's
okay,
two
so
things for me. Like,
okay, so let's
no,
have
but
this.
there is
I know.
like 80-90% of the people just work to live, you know?
I know, but and the thing is that I think that's a lot of these people think that their life would be so much more fun if they got the money that they had without doing anything. Which, like, I'm not judging that, right?
No,
Like
no,
that
that's how I lived 15 years of my life right now.
exactly. So, but I'm not like that. I'm not intrinsically motivated in doing something that will give me long-term satisfaction. If I think about like, oh, imagine now. Okay, so let's have now like a thought experiment.
Yeah,
Let's say that everyone
take
in the
us
world, like that now, all the big AI companies and all the big production companies are gonna get taxed, like are taking all the jobs. All the jobs are gone except for the people working at these companies, and like 99% of the people
management and stuff stay.
99% of the
Yeah.
people are, because even management will get optimized by AI, whatever. 99% of the people don't have jobs.
Okay.
Like hypothetically, we tax these companies so much that the amount that we tax them, we pay this minimum wage to everyone that exists. Everyone. Like
That's
I know
that's the I don't know the
general,
Andrew yeah,
the basic human income.
basic
The-
human
the-
income. That's a topic that's been more popularized again
I know.
by for these elections, I think, or for previous elections.
Yeah, you have like this tiny book, and I don't know why I keep recommending it to people because I haven't read it myself. But it's called Mana, and it tells
It's
about
what?
this
Mana?
Mana, Manna. It's a
Yeah.
book that my brother talked to me about a lot, and so I'm just reciting him. So just let's say that everyone gets
Everybody
money.
has a minimum
Yes,
wage to support us.
So everything's fixed by a couple of the big companies. They tax enough to pay everyone money. So you can live your life doing nothing productive. Just like if you want, you can sit on a bench your entire life and you would have enough money to take care of yourself. You won't be living in mansions and driving jets, but you would have enough money to just take care of yourself, eating, having a place to sleep, whatever. Like how like okay, so this is the rules. Now what are you gonna do? Like what's like are you gonna just travel and do some fun stuff and hang out and get drunk with friends? Because I think that'll
Probably.
get bored
That will get
very
boring.
quickly. Because that's short-term satisfaction.
Let me counter that, because this is basically the basic human income, or whatever.
Universal basic
Universal basic. That's been criticized and popularized a lot of times already. I want to say this: how, like, of all the people that live now, all the people that live in this hypothetical situation, how many of them would actually pursue their dreams, like try new things? Do you think it will be more, get like a steady income, or do you think it would be less because people are like, I don't need any more money?
I don't know, because the thing is we are all educated and we all live in a society where everything that's productive is being like what do you say, it's like being positively reinforced, while everything that's not productive being shittily reinforced. So you have this feeling that you always have to be productive. So people will do like, oh, I always had this dream of starting this or doing that, and they will do it because they have this need of like, oh, I need to be productive.
Is it not the same thing as we talked in the beginning? Like intrinsically, we strive for evolution and for optimization.
Yeah, exactly. And so the thing is, like, I think there are two possible outcomes of what you're telling. There are these peoples that have goals intrinsically, and they will go to these goals, and like these are the people that just without any like rewards, they will just get up and do and work and work hard for this long-term satisfaction. And there are a lot of people that say like, why would I even put the efforts? Like just deciding to your ecological like biological need of like, oh, I'm just optimizing my energy, I'm being lazy. Because being lazy is like the ecological,
I
the biological.
I think
need,
lazy
right?
is a bit a bad word in this sense.
Yeah.
I would use contempt.
Yeah, because lazy also like it's important
Imply
to
that
think
you have to do something.
that productivity is good and non-productivity is bad. So then like this is our generation, I think, and the generations that are still like in the society where productivity is being. And so I think then you have these
how do you say
people
glorified? Glorified.
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 And so then you have these people that have a goal like me that like they're like
why are you saying that?
Because I had it last year. I didn't work for an entire year, and I went traveling for half a year, and that was fun. But in my back mind, I always say like, how do I deserve to be traveling for half a year? How do I deserve to be here? I'm just lucky. I'm just way more like privileged than all these people here, and it feels kind of bad that I'm not doing anything. And then I came back, and that's even worse. That I was just at home and I didn't have this extrinsic motivation of extrinsic duty of like you go to work, which is why I'm now way happier with work. While I think you are the opposite. I think you would be happier if you had like this freedom. I need this thing. But that's our generation. Then I think.
Can I add one thing to that? Yeah. I lost my thought. Why do you think you're not worth using your privilege?
Well, that was a big thing in my mind.
It's a similar thing that I say to Boris. Like, privilege is not bad in essence for me, how I see it, but it's the way how you use it. If you use it to do stuff you like, you're using your privilege to a good extent for me.
Yeah, and I think that most people, if like even non-privileged ones, if they got the privilege, they would also use it for some things that would feel right. But it was not this like I owe it to other people to work. It was more like, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
Yeah, and I think that's the same thing like we said 3 times now already. It's just something intrinsically in humans.
I know.
We like to be productive and strive for optimization.
Well, I think that society after the first couple of generations, first couple of generations after the human basic income and no work and whatever, it's gonna be like they're gonna be like, I don't know what the fuck to do. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do that. They'll just figure it out. You know, like there's gonna be a lot of depression, a lot of people that don't know anything about to do. There are gonna be a lot of people very happy, and then the following generations, or we just lose this entire concept of productivity and everyone just lives life like doing what they want, and the concept of productivity doesn't exist anymore, just like, oh, do you like it? Or we fail and there's going to be like this massive global humanity-wide feeling of like meaning crisis.
Depression.
Yeah, depression, meaning crisis, like even harder than now. Like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Let's invest in new shit to invent, to do new stuff, to build new stuff. To I don't know what the fuck we're doing. Like
I think one does not exclude the other there in that sense. I think there will be some kind of depression or some kind of readjustment needed because, for me, we're entering a new age actually. Like, we have been in a new age for, I don't know, 200 years or something, or 100 years. For me, this is maybe the beginning of a new age in the sense that we have to think differently about how we fill in our time during our lifetime. But I don't think it takes away that people still want to achieve things. I think people can be content that they don't have to do things, but also feel the need to do things that they like. Yeah. And in how I see it, it's more in line with how we were as a monkey. We did the things we liked, we got the food that we wanted, we got the play that we wanted, we got the females that we wanted, or the males, and that's just how we lived. We got this, we strayed away so far, I think, glorifying making money, glorifying building a business for the sake of money and to be rich and to be famous and to be well known, that we're actually maybe kind of reverting back to a more natural state in that sense.
Yeah, but this natural state doesn't have any long-term satisfaction. So if you, for example, if you would go to that thing, would just like from the moment you could walk, you would just go to your primal instincts, and nobody would like. I would not willingly choose to study like until my 24th year of my life until I could achieve a job, which now I realize is very fun, but I wouldn't like every step of the way. I said like, what the fuck am I doing? Let's just stop and live like monkeys in the jungle. But nobody would be like, oh, let's not do that for 25 years so that afterwards I would get a job that's fulfilling. Like people would go so short term that I think that a lot of the goals are established by forceful education, by like having to study until you're 16 or 18 or whatever, because you learn how to invest time and effort into long term like efforts. I think, or we could just all be satisfied with short term and just like hitting rocks against rocks and rocks against people and then whatever. So
I don't know. I think people can also be strict on themselves to educate themselves. Like
I really don't think so.
No?
Like I think that like forceful education is one of the best things that our like Belgium has ever implemented ever. Like that people, even if they don't want to, they just at least they try to have their like basic like introduction of education.
But what? Imagine the world where we don't have to work anymore, and you're trying to pursue, for example, making a podcast. You can have an AI guide through the whole experience, right?
Yeah, but you'll be like, oh, after 10 minutes, you're like, oh, what the fuck? Let's just stop and boot up Fortnite. You know, like, where is this? Where did you learn to like invest a lot of efforts for this long-term satisfaction? That's through school and that's through mandatory stuff. Through like, oh, you have to make money, so you have to work. And after a while, this long-term feels nice.
I think you're right in the sense that in general, the whole populace is moving towards short-term achievements and short-term goals and short-term rewards.
Yeah.
But I'd also think the people that can look past that are being way more successful because there is less competition there.
But do you think these people inherently were long-term satisfaction people, or was it learned through them by like you have to be productive, you have to invest in like this longer term to get your rewards? And
I can only speak for myself, but I'm only 26, so I cannot talk about long term. But how I feel is once you find something that you want to go for, that you actually start taking the steps yourself. I think I don't know if like. For me, it's more a matter of finding what you like and having the courage to pursue that. In contrast to being lazy. I used in the previous example the analogy of how I see life and how I see people moving through life is that we all are on the same big river. We all have this boat, and I, for example, did not really care to pedal throughout 15 years of the last 15 years of my life. I liked the boat. I liked the view that I had. I was not really trying to achieve something or make work towards something. But I also did not mind just flowing down the river.
Yeah.
And as I grew now older, I started realizing, okay, the river is not taking me to where I actually want to be.
Yeah.
And I still respect people that do find that destination a good destination, but I chose to work towards a goal that I may never achieve.
Exactly.
But it still gives me satisfaction. Like for now, we've been talking 2 hours about AI, and now it's getting more philosophical, but I like that. And I think people can find similar things depending on if they want to search for them.
Yeah.
And maybe a bigger portion of the populace will not search it because they're content with their lives and they like Fortnite and they like to flow down the river. But the people that do want to achieve something will be way more successful, I think.
Yeah, but do you think that, like, don't you think that a lot of the shirts, I mean, we should look for messages because I see you have some,
we'll see in a second.
But, like, don't you think that a lot of the people being, like, just going into the river with their caps on, with
no, it's not caps. They're just content with how the river is flowing.
Yeah, there are people. Okay, so I think there are three kinds of like people in your analogy. You have the people that realizes they're just flowing the flow, and not the followers, and not the leaders, but the followers, not the creators, but the consumers. You know, like these people just like, I'm fine with it. I'm
Yeah.
just here for the rides.
Yeah.
You have the people that say like, no, I want to be the guy that goes there. I want to achieve something. I want to do something for my own. I want to like invest. I want to be like ondernemend.
Yeah.
And then you have like the third kind of people that don't even realize that they're on the river. They're just like they're so caught up in this short term. Don't look around you. Just like, ooh, I don't know. Just follow. I don't know. Like, don't even think about what you're doing. And these people, I think, will only like this portion of the
Will increase.
will increase because a lot of the people never like stood up and looked around like, oh, I'm in a river. They would say like, oh my god, if I play Fortnite all day, I don't even realize there's a river. Like, oh, nice. You know, like I think that's very respectable for you that you realize there's a river, and I really do like that you are the one that's like doing instead of following. But I think, and maybe I'm biased because I'm like the only reason I would pedal is because I learned to pedal during my studies and I learned to go my own way instead of following. But I think a lot of people, especially if you've never had any investments to make, like just like the moment you realize you're existing, you're a human, you just do whatever you want and nothing takes more than 10 minutes or it's boring. And like, would you ever learn, for example, workout, would you ever learn that working out is nice, or would you just become like an up, like these big fat people that don't even have bones, just like content, like sometimes I feel like TikTok and stuff is making us more like up and less like people realizing they're on a river.
Maybe we are overthinking it in the sense that it's kind of like the Wapawet loop from before, or survival of the fittest, however you want to call it.
Yeah.
In the beginning, a lot of people will maybe fall into this trap, but as time progresses, as the next generation comes, for example, I look at my parents, and I think a lot of young people look at their parents and are like, these are the good aspects about my parents, but I want to differ in that and that and that direction. Maybe they are like kids growing up with their parents playing Fortnite and are like, this guy is doing nothing all day. I don't want to be this guy.
But that implies that doing nothing all day is something bad.
No,
maybe these kids will just be there and have like, oh, this is life. Let's also do that now.
No, because there are also other people, and social media will be a huge thing. It will only grow, you know. People on social media are like, in your face, dude, you're not being productive.
Yeah,
you
but that's now because productivity is something you is good. It's something you should do later. Like if our hypothesis is correct, then that's not a thing. So I think that, well, maybe you're right. Maybe like the people that are intrinsically so motivated will be the only ones surviving. But then you could also say like, oh, just abolish education and everyone that's not educated will get fucked. Like, you know, sometimes you have to invest in people that don't even realize so you're doing something for their goods. Especially when having kids, they'll probably complain like, I don't want to do this. I want to do something fun. No, you have to study. Why? You'll see later, and only later they realize. And you'll never have that if no one needs to be productive.
I see it differently.